As Christmas is fast approaching, I am sure many of you are planning parties or are going to parties, and what is the one thing that should be at every party? Eggnog. I'm just gonna drink. Do I have a? I do. Okay, that's good. You know what? Eggnog is one of those things of a bygone era, I feel like. Anymore, you go to the store, you buy a carton, you dump it in a glass, and that's that. But let me tell you something. If you make homemade eggnog one time, you are never gonna wanna buy that stuff again. Well, except homemade eggnog is a little bit boozy, extremely boozy, but really delicious, so it's not something you probably wanna have every night, so you might wanna keep the carton stuff for that. This is a delicious adult eggnog, but it also has a cooked egg base, so you don't have to worry about all those raw eggs. It is so good, it's really easy, and honestly, this needs to come back to every party because it's worth it, and it is a delicious treat around the holidays. Traditional eggnogs always are with raw eggs. You separate the egg yolks and the egg whites, and then you beat the egg yolks with sugar, and a lot of people think that all the alcohol really kind of doesn't make the eggs unsafe, but just to be safe, and if you're worried, I am making this with a cooked egg base, almost like a custard, so you don't have to worry about it. So just separate your eggs, the yolks can go into a heavy bottom kettle, the whites can go right into the bowl of an electric mixer, and then to those egg yolks, you just wanna add some sugar, and then scrape a vanilla bean, put the seeds right in there. I love the flavor of vanilla and it melds really well with all the other flavors we're using here. But just whisk it all together really well. It's gonna turn slightly pale in color, a little bit lighter, and be really thick. That's exactly what you want. Pour in your whole milk. Yes, whole milk is extremely important. Don't skimp out here. And then whisk it till it's completely smooth. Place that right on the stove and then bring it up over about medium to medium high heat. You're not trying to scorch this, you do not want to burn this, you do not want to boil this. You are just going to bring it up until it really starts steaming. That's about 165 degrees if you want to check, and that's when those eggs are going to be safe and cooked. While your custard base is coming up to temperature, you can just quickly get ready a water bath if you want to. Now you could also make the custard base the night before, throw it in the fridge and have it well chilled. If not, just put a big bowl with some ice, some water, and then a smaller bowl that fits into it. Put it on the side ready to go, and then you can chill it really quickly. Once your custard is beginning to steam, and you've been stirring it and whisking it, making sure it's not scorching on the bottom, pull it off the heat, pour it into a bowl, and then put that bowl into your water bath if that's how you're wanting to chill it down. While that's chilling, I just like to get all my other components ready. First, I start with the egg whites. I whip them until they're at soft peaks. Once they get a little bit foamy, I like to add a little bit of sugar. It just helps them stabilize a little bit and whip up a little bit better. When they're at soft peaks, and you know that because the peak turns over and it falls into itself really well in the bowl, you can just set them aside. Separately then, you wanna whip up half of your heavy cream. Now, you can get out your mixer if you want to for this. Mine's actually almost too big to do this little of amount. And why not do the old-fashioned way and just go by hand? Yes, you can do it by hand. That's what people used to do before there were a mixer, and it's really only a cup. So just sit there, get a little bit of an arm workout, think about all the delicious eggnog you're gonna be drinking and what you're gonna talk to people about, because that's really what Christmas is about, those wonderful mingling parties. You don't wanna over whip your heavy cream because then it becomes too firm to actually stir in. So just whip it to about a soft peak and then set it aside. When your custard base is chilled, you can start assembling the eggnog. It really is this easy, you guys. I am, of course, using a Tom and Jerry eggnog bowl set. Okay, technically these aren't eggnog sets, they're Tom and Jerry sets, which is an even older drink than an eggnog. It is slightly the same, a little bit different, but I love these sets. You see them at flea markets, at vintage shops, probably at thrift shops. Your mom or grandma probably has one in the back of her closet. They are so fun to use and you might as well pull it out now. I just like to assemble everything right in the bowl I'm gonna serve it in. So put in your custard base, add more whole milk. You wanna add some at the end because it really brings the flavor out that way and it's just not all of a cooked flavor. Also add the rest of your heavy cream. Again, you want that really rich flavor. Whisk that together till it's well combined with your custard base. And then we're gonna add in everything that makes this boozy and delicious and very adult. The base of most eggnogs is a good bourbon. And while I love bourbon, I love what the great Martha Stewart taught me. She likes to add both bourbon cognac, and a third item, a little bit of rum. Really, the mixture of these three does amp it up, and I will admit, once you try it, it is very important to add all three. And I will admit, this is annoying, but a good quality of each one is important too, because it really brings out the real good flavor. Stir that together till it's well combined. You can adjust the flavor slightly if you like one more than the other, if you want it more or less boozy. And then you just want to start putting in those other components we had ready. Start with your egg whites. I like to use a whisk and just lightly fold them in, let it go through the tines of the whisk. That way they're really going into the mixture well. Next, add your whipped cream. Now this too, I just like to fold in kind of, maybe with your whisk. You can also just use a spatula. You just don't want to really deflate it and mix it in completely. Kind of leave it billowy and foamy on top. That's what I love. And as you can see, that's the most delicious part. Sometimes I just lick off the foam. Yeah, that just got weird, but it's good. Of course, to finish it off a little bit, you need some freshly grated nutmeg. It really is the flavor behind so many eggnogs, and it really sets it off, and it looks festive. Once it's assembled like this, it's not going to keep well, because eventually it is going to want to separate out those foam and liquid components, so you really do want to serve it. But it's not going to last long. Once people usually try this at a party, I tell ya, it's gone. You'll probably need to make extra. This is such a fun treat around the holidays, and it really brings up that nostalgic, traditional holiday flair. But with the custard base, you don't have to worry about raw eggs. I hope you try this eggnog, and if you agree and like this video, make sure to click like, share it around on all platforms, and tell me what you're doing for the holidays. Merry Christmas.